it is it's allowing you to access the query cache with some just using some global variables, and you can actually access that and set the query cache to various amounts, or like down here you can input various values for it and make it either as big or as small as you need for whatever you're doing backend for, whatever your website's needs are. Now this query cache, it works very well with repetitive and high traffic data. That means if you have a website where your information's not changing a whole lot, but you're having a lot of queries for this data. That data's not changing, but you're querying for it a lot, and that's where you'll see the biggest performance changes is if you're running a database, something like that. Be a website that you might have people entering one set of maybe like one set of data for a user, but that data won't change. It'll just keep coming up and coming up. And what I'm going to do here, I found another web page too that kind of goes into it a little bit, enabling the cache to improve query performance. And scroll down here a little bit, and basically all this is you accessing these global variables here within MySQL. And once you verify that it's there and it's enabled, then you can pretty much here type in any number that you need. You can set it as big or as small as you want to, like whatever your demands are, and it'll give you, like, if you have a lot of information that you're passing around, then you can make that query cache pretty big, and it'll just keep all the information that it keeps using over and over. It's going to save that, and it's going to be able to pull it from that large cache and make your query replies will be a lot faster. So let me go into SQL Pro here, and I'll kind of demonstrate a little bit. The first one here, this is show variable like have query cache. Alright, this right here is going to check your system to make sure that the cache is enabled. So when you hit and run this here, you can see down here have query cache and the value set to yes. So yes, it is enabled. Just remember here, this is underscores in between the words, it's in single quotes, and then show variable like. Alright, so once you verify that it's there, the next thing you want to do is you can change the size of this. Now initially it won't give you a size until you set it, so I want to show you something here. This first size I set it to, it didn't like it. So let's run this here. This is set global query cache size equals and 3500. This thing does have a minimum limit to 40 kilobytes. 40 KB. That's the lowest that you can set it. It's probably the default size when you for your database. So you want to put it at something above that, and it does round it to there's a specific number that it rounds to. So let's run this here, and once you've made a change, it'll come back with no errors, 0 rows affected, and it'll give you the time it took to do it. So after you set the size up here, you're going to type show variables like, and then in single quotes, query cache size. So this is pretty much just displaying the size of the cache after you've set it. And you can see here that it shows the variable name, but it has a value of 0. Now I haven't quite looked into that, but there are some numbers like this 3500. If that's 3500 KB, it might be lower than what it is right now. But when I change it here and do this bigger number, say global query cache size equals 16777.216, we'll go ahead and run that, and then we'll run the show variable like again, and here you go, we get the value changed and it's updated to our new value. Now if it's in KBs, then I can understand why it's such a large number. That just depends on how much you need, but very easy to do. You just pretty much these 3 commands here, and you can access the query cache in the system in MySQL and change it to fit your needs. Pretty simple procedure, but I just thought it was pretty neat. It's something that we can definitely use if we're going to be involved in a project like that that's going to be high traffic but not very much data changing. It might be pretty useful to speed that up even more, especially if you have if you get to having thousands or hundreds of thousands of users, maybe even millions, this is going to come in pretty handy to make your website or whatever kind of application you're running really accessible, especially for the mobile users. So just a little thing I wanted to show everybody, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So thanks for watching my video, and thank you.